My brothers and sisters, sometimes life hits you so hard that you wonder, why is Allah letting me suffer like this? You cry at night, and no one hears you. You feel abandoned, forgotten, and broken. But what if I told you that every tear you shed is a step closer to the blessing you've been waiting for? Allah does not hurt you to destroy you. He hurts you to awaken you, to prepare you, and to elevate you to a level you could never reach without that pain. Pain is never random in the life of a believer. When you feel that sharp ache in your heart, when life knocks the air out of you, it is not because Allah has forgotten you. It is because He is shaping your heart for something far greater than the life you are living right now. Pain is one of Allah's most powerful tools to transform a person from the inside out. It strips away illusions, it removes the false attachments that keep you stuck, and it awakens the soul to a reality that comfort could never teach. Comfort rarely pushes a person to grow, but pain forces reflection, change, and deep connection with Allah. When you are in pain, the heart softens in a way that nothing else can achieve. The arrogance begins to melt, the ego starts to weaken, and suddenly the things you once relied on no longer hold any power. It is in this state that Allah can truly shape your heart, because a heart that is broken is open. It is open to guidance, to reflection, to humility, to the light of faith entering places that were once dark. Without that breaking, many people continue living with closed hearts, distracted by worldly pursuits and unaware of how far they have drifted from their Creator. Pain comes to remind you of where you truly belong. Think about how gold is purified. It is placed in fire, melted down, and separated from impurities. That fire is intense, it consumes everything unnecessary, and only the pure gold remains. The heart of a believer is treated the same way through pain. Allah places you in situations that feel unbearable so that your impurities, your pride, your overdependence on people, your love for this world, are burned away. What remains after that process is a heart that is sincere, humble, and ready to carry the weight of blessings that Allah wants to give. A heart that is untested may not have the strength to hold the blessings it asks for, because blessings without preparation can crush a person. The moments of pain are also moments of deep remembrance. A person who is hurting often whispers the name of Allah with more sincerity than at any other time in life. You might wake up in the middle of the night crying, raising your hands in a dua that feels like your whole soul is in it. That level of closeness, that raw connection, is something only pain can unlock. It softens the heart to a point where even the smallest acts of worship feel powerful. A sajda in the middle of heartbreak is not the same as a sajda in comfort, because in pain, the heart is fully present with Allah. Through pain, Allah is teaching you lessons that will stay with you forever. He is stretching your capacity to be patient, to trust Him, and to rely on Him alone. He is making your heart resilient, so that when the blessings finally arrive, you can handle them with gratitude and humility instead of arrogance and forgetfulness. A pain is His way of sculpting the heart into something beautiful, capable of carrying faith, wisdom, and the kind of strength that only comes from surviving what once felt unbearable. Every delay and every difficulty you face is not an accident but a precise part of Allah's plan for you. When life seems to move slower than your dreams, when the doors you want to open stay locked, it is easy to feel frustrated and forgotten. Yet in reality, those delays are hidden preparations for the blessing you are asking for. Allah never withholds out of cruelty. He withholds out of wisdom, because He knows the exact moment when giving you what you want will benefit you, and He knows the exact moment when it could break you. Delay is not denial. It is a silent process where Allah is aligning circumstances, shaping your heart, and building the version of you that is capable of holding the blessing without losing it. When you ask Allah for something big, He does not simply hand it to you without preparation, because blessings can be heavy. If they arrive too early, they can overwhelm you, harm you, or even take you away from the very faith you are trying to strengthen. Think about someone praying for a great opportunity, wealth, or success. If their heart is not ready, if their faith is weak, or if their character is unpolished, that very blessing could become the reason for their downfall. So Allah delays, not because He wants to hurt you, but because He is protecting you from receiving something before you are ready to handle it with gratitude and wisdom. Difficulty is also a form of preparation. It builds resilience, patience, and strength that you cannot develop in comfort. When life is hard, every step you take is teaching you discipline and endurance. Each struggle strips away entitlement and fills you with humility. Without difficulty, a blessing can feel like it was earned purely by your effort, and arrogance creeps in. But when you have bled, cried, and prayed for years before that blessing arrives, you carry it with humility, knowing that it was Allah alone who made it possible. The struggle makes the blessing safer, becomes you in gratitude. Look at the stories of the prophets. Yusuf HWW had to endure betrayal, slavery, and prison before becoming a ruler. Musa HUWW had to leave his home and live in exile before returning as a prophet. Even our beloved Prophet Muhammad faced years of rejection, poverty, and loss before the victory of Islam came. If the blessing had arrived without the delay and difficulty, they would not have been shaped into the leaders and examples they became. Every unanswered prayer, every closed door, every season of waiting is actually a silent workshop where Allah is crafting both you and the circumstances around you. He is putting the right people in place, removing the wrong ones, and should be, and strengthening your soul for the day when the blessing arrives. When it does, should be, you will look back and realize that the delay was never wasted time, but the exact process that turned you into the person who could receive, protect, and honor the blessing in the way Allah intended. Your silent tears are never ignored by Allah. Every night you lay on your pillow, broken, exhausted, and unable to even speak your pain to another human being. He is there, watching, listening, and counting every tear. People may not notice, friends may not ask, and family may not understand. But the Lord of the heavens and the earth is closer to you than your own heartbeat. Your silence is not empty. It is full of unspoken prayers that rise to Him even when your lips cannot form the words. The tears that roll down your face in secret are recorded by the angels. And each one carries the weight of your faith, your patience, and your trust in the unseen mercy of Allah. There are moments in life when pain isolates you completely. You want to explain your struggle, but no one truly understands the depth of what you are going through. The world might see your smile during the day, but it does not see the nights where your chest feels heavy and your soul aches. This isolation is not a punishment but a divine invitation. It is Allah pulling you away from relying too much on people and teaching you to rely fully on Him. When no one else can wipe your tears, you realize that He has always been enough. The most beautiful moments of faith often come in these silent, tearful nights. When the world is asleep and you are awake with your pain, the doors of the heavens are open. You're whispered, Ya Allah. In the darkness is louder in the unseen world than any speech you could give in the daylight. Those moments of quiet surrender are where hearts transform, where sins are forgiven, and where destinies are rewritten. A single sincere tear shed out of love, fear, or longing for Allah can weigh heavier on the scale than years of heedless worship. That is the power of the unseen conversation between you and your Creator. Even the prophets, the most beloved to Allah, had moments of silent tears. Prophet Yagbit Yakakadbu have cried until his eyes went white from grief over the loss of his son. Prophet Muhammad would weep in the night while praying, his beard wet with tears as he asked for mercy for his people. These tears were never signs of weakness. They were signs of hearts that knew exactly where to turn when the weight of the world became too much. Allah honored those tears, elevated their status, and made their stories timeless reminders that He is always near. When your heart is heavy, and your tears fall unnoticed by the world, remember that every drop is a witness of your faith. It testifies that you still believe, that you still hope, and that you still turn to Allah, even when life feels unbearable. Those silent moments are treasures in the sight of Allah, and every tear shed for His sake is collected in the unseen, waiting to become light for you on the day when every secret will be revealed. Their life and immediately think that it must be because they are cursed, forgotten, or unloved by Allah. But in reality, the opposite is often true. A test is a mark of attention from your Creator, a sign that He is investing in your growth and your spiritual rise. Without tests, the soul remains stagnant, the heart remains asleep, and life passes by without depth or purpose. Tests are the winds that force the roots of your faith to grow deeper, anchoring you so that no storm can uproot you in the future. When Allah loves someone, He refines them. He places them in situations where they are forced to confront their weaknesses, their attachments, and their illusions about control. A person living in constant comfort may think their faith is strong, but comfort rarely reveals the truth of the heart. It is in difficulty that the heart is exposed. A test shows you who you really are, and who really rely on. It is a spiritual mirror that forces you to see whether your trust in Allah is real or just words you have repeated in ease. Tests also clear the path for blessings. Sometimes your life is cluttered with people, habits, or situations that block the very things you are praying for. Through hardship, Allah removes those blocks. He empties your hands of what is not meant for you, so that they can be free to hold what He has written for you. You may not see it while it's happening, but many of the losses you cry over are actually making space for the gains you will one day celebrate. The job you lost, the relationship that ended, the plan that failed. Each is part of the unseen wisdom of a test that is positioning you for something greater than what you imagined. Every prophet faced tests that seemed unbearable, yet those tests became the very reason for their honor. Ibrahim Wawf was thrown into fire but emerged as a friend of Allah. Musa Wawf was cornered by an army and the sea, yet the test became the moment of a miracle that would be remembered for all time. Even our beloved Prophet Muhammad buried his children, faced hunger, and endured rejection, yet those trials elevated him to the highest station in creation. These stories are reminders that tests are not the end. They are the means to rise. A test is also an invitation to draw near to Allah in a way that ease never could. When the world feels heavy on your shoulders, and no one can help you, your heart finally surrenders fully to the one who has power over all things. Your does become deeper, your sujud becomes longer, and your faith becomes alive in the fire of trial. It is through these moments that your rank is raised, your sins are forgiven, and your heart is transformed into something purer than it was before. Patience in pain attracts blessings that comfort cannot. When life is easy, patience is rarely tested, and the soul remains in its comfort zone. But when pain enters your life, it shakes everything you thought you understood about yourself and your faith. In that shaking, a door opens. A chance to prove your reliance on Allah, to display the beauty of sabr, and to draw blessings that only come to those who endure with faith. A pain is the ground where patience grows, and patience is the magnet that pulls divine mercy toward you in ways that are unseen. Every moment you choose patience in the middle of struggle, is a moment recorded in the heavens. The angels witness you holding back from complaint, turning your eyes toward the sky, and whispering your trust in Allah despite the heaviness in your chest. That patience becomes a shield, protecting your heart from despair and attracting a special type of blessing that cannot be earned in seasons of ease. Comfort never challenges your faith, but pain does. And when you meet that challenge with patience, you step into the company of those whom Allah loves. Patience is not simply waiting for the hardship to end. It is enduring with trust and without losing your connection to Allah. Many people wait, but they wait with bitterness, anger, or doubt. True patience is when your heart remains soft toward Allah, even as it bleeds from the trials of life. This kind of patience purifies the soul and brings a sweetness that is hard to explain. It is the quiet strength of knowing that nothing happens, except by the will of the one who loves you more than anyone else, and that He does not allow pain to touch you without purpose. The blessings that follow patience often come in ways you cannot anticipate. Sometimes they arrive as relief in this world, a door that suddenly opens, a solution that appears from nowhere, a burden that is lifted when you least expect it. Other times, the blessings are spiritual, a heart that is stronger, a faith that is deeper, and sins that are wiped away with every tear you held back in patience. On the day of judgment, many will wish they had endured more in this life, when they see the mountains of reward prepared for those who were patient in pain. Even the prophets demonstrated this truth. Prophet Ayub endured years of suffering without losing his trust in Allah, and his story became a timeless symbol of how patience during pain leads to unimaginable reward. His health returned, his family was restored, and his status in the sight of Allah was elevated beyond what ease could have ever achieved. This is the secret of patience in pain. It turns moments of suffering into seeds that grow blessings. Sometimes in this life, always in the next, in ways that comfort and ease could never produce.